What's happening, everybody? I'm going to walk you through how I plasti dip the hood of my Jeep. What you're going to need: some newspaper, some blue masking tape, a rag or a sock to wipe off the overspray. You need one of these. It's a little gun that hooks onto a spray can so your finger doesn't die. You need some plasti dip. You need a can of propane, and you need a leather dog leash. Those last two are actually optional. Sorry. You need another can of dip just because if you run out, it's going to be real bad. You need a car too. That'll be better. The hood of my Jeep is not in great condition. It's got scratches in the clear coat, that sort of thing. Right there, it's bubbling up because it overheated. So the paint's chipping and it's doing something funky, who knows. So we're going to paint over it and see how it works out. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to mask off where you want your lines. Don't worry a whole lot about overspray because it will come off. I just newspapered everything for the sake of ease of cleanup. As with any spray can, shake it up real nice. And this is the first time I've ever done this, so I was a little bit cautious, but really you can just dive in, do some light coats, do a couple of sprays, and just get a feel for it. It's not horrible. But the nozzle on that was, it was dripping a little bit, which isn't a huge problem on the first coat. You can just tap them down with your finger, you'll see me do that. And you can spray over them just fine in the next 3 or 4 coats. Right there, tapping it down. Yeah, as I'm sure you've seen in other videos, you're going for about 50% coverage on the first coat, so don't worry a whole lot about it, just go for hitting the big areas. And I'm staying away from the masking tape a little bit. You'll see that it kind of fades out as it gets towards that. And that's because I don't want it to build up quite as much as I want it to build up on the big parts, because we're going to be taking the masking tape off. And we don't want to peel the plasti dip with it, but you'll see that later on. Second coat, basically same idea. Go for even coverage. Don't worry a whole lot about spots. And don't worry about covering up the whole thing just in this go. In between coats, I'm waiting about 10 to 15 minutes. It's about an 80-degree day with a light breeze. One thing you're going to want to learn how to do is get in the habit of taking your finger off the trigger as you reach the end of your sweep, and then turning it back on as you go a different direction. Otherwise, you'll be stopped in a spot for a little while and it'll pool up right there. That's not a great thing. Layer 4, we're just going pretty slow. We're globbing it on there and shooting any spots with paint coming through, because at this point you're not going to want to see any paint with the black. You might with other colors of plasti dip, but black you should definitely cover all of it at this point. I laid it on pretty thick over where I showed you the paint is bubbling up, just because I wanted to seal those little cracks. So there's a little shiny spot that's going to be there, but it'll dry out. Layer 5. Some people only do 4, but I felt that I needed a 5th layer, and you'll see how slow I'm going here and really hosing it down. And at this point I'm not too worried about the edge of our masking tape. You can just spray right on that as you normally would. Alright, here comes the hard part. Getting ready to take off that masking tape. And it's difficult because you don't want the plasti dip on the hood to come up with your masking tape like it's made to do. But if you hose it down like I did there and get it really shiny and wet, don't be afraid of it. Get about 3.5–4 inches away from it and just hose it down.
Go over this whole thing?
then wait about 10 to 12 seconds, and then you can pull off the masking tape at a really sharp angle like I'm doing there. And with a little bit of luck, it comes out looking great. And of course, when it all goes as planned, you can have a little celebration for yourself. Right there, I'm tapping down a little edge that got pulled up. It was just a small spot, but since it was still a little bit sticky, you can just tap it back down and it bonds just fine.
I don't know how long it takes for that to dissolve.
The middle part was tricky because I couldn't pull away from it like I did on the other side. Couldn't do that 90-degree angle on it as I was pulling, so I sort of fold it over and pull it towards the front as sharp as I could.
I guess you could pull straight towards you rather than up.
And it worked great, but be sure to hose it down like crazy and wait about 10 seconds before you try and pull off the masking tape. Here you'll see what happens when you don't spray enough.
Just so I can see.
See, it's not very shiny there. I didn't do a great job, and when I started to pull it up, it was pulling up little chunks of the edge there, and I was a little bit bummed out. So I just poked it back down as close as I could get it to where it was, and I sprayed the crap out of it. Waited a little while and went after it again, and the line looked great that time. But it was all because I didn't hose it down like I should have. Pull it off nice and slow, and there you have it.
I'm just gonna tap down that edge.
And here's the overspray on the side. You take that rag, wipe it right off. Simple as that. Thanks for watching, guys. Good luck with your future projects.